Greetings, this is Skylar Saunders seeing What's Current. Today I would like to discuss something that just pissed me off. This movie, it was very well made. It was actually well made. Had some cliches on it, some chestnuts, some, okay, that's been shown before. We've seen that, a few many times. But overall, it gave great performances. It flowed well. It was written well by Chiwetel Ejiofor, who also directed and stars in the movie. So I appreciate the fact that the film came out. It's essentially about the dad going to jail and the son going to Yale. That was the whole idea. It's a real life story. It's true to life story. It's an actual fact. It wasn't fabricated in Hollywood. But it reminds me of two movies that were actually fabricated in Hollywood. Fresh, that came out in I think 1994 with Samuel L. Jackson and what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito. And Finding Forrester with Sean Connery and I think Rob Brown. I think that's his name. Let me make sure I get his name right. His name Rob Brown. Yeah, Rob Brown. So it really pissed me off. Like it drove me to do this video. I was not going to do another video, but it just pissed me off. Like not at the acting, not at the directing, not at the writing, not at the production value, which are all very good, not excellent, not my Wes Anderson status, of filmmaking, but it did its part. It served its purpose. It did its job with me right now because I'm really pissed off that this kid. It's a real life story, so I can actually spoil it. There's no, you can spoil the movie because if you just look up a news article, you'll see what happened. But essentially, this kid grows up to be this genius at Yale University and has to sell drugs to help get his father out of prison. So then it comes to the point where his father dies, and he says, how much can he? He had his house that burned down, and they rebuilt it, and it was just a vacant place. And so they wondered how much they could get for it, and they looked and saw, this could go for maybe $120,000, $200,000, $250,000 maybe. And they looked at it and they continued on with it, and they just kept the ball rolling. And what's sad is that he was in the weed game. He wasn't even in like heavy, he wasn't even selling coke or heroin or what's it called, meth. But it had the cliche of him, getting the supplies from the meth lab, from the not meth lab, excuse me, the scientific lab at Yale, and him using those utensils and using those laboratory equipment. How do I donate? You can donate by hitting my Cash App. Hit my Cash App, my PayPal, or my Venmo. They're all listed right there for you. All you have to do, that's all you have to do, is hit my Cash App, my Venmo, or my PayPal. I appreciate it. Thank you, Conk Shrub. No, don't donate. Okay, Marcel, tell people to don't donate. I don't care. People will donate. I've already received thousands of dollars in donations, so I don't really care if somebody comes in and says don't donate. Donate to me, yeah. Okay, well, put up your PayPal and your Venmo and your Cash App. It's free to do. You can put it in the site. I'm not going to block you. You're a troll, and I know you're a troll, but I'm not. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm trying to tell my piece, and that's a play on words. I know that was a pun, but Rob Peace is a very provocative story. It pissed me off watching it. I had to take breaks. I had to take different breaks watching it because it just really, really pissed me off. It certainly pissed me off. Like it took its toll on me because I was watching. I'm just like, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. And I was like, "Yep, it happened." I knew he was. I knew he was going to go down. I didn't even see the story. I didn't even read any of the news reports or anything that happened to him. He's actually part of my family. He's related to one of my stepbrothers. This is like going down the list. My stepbrothers, friends, nephews, cousin. Like no, but seriously, but he's one of his nephews, I think it was. So there's a linkage there. I'm from Newark, Delaware. I think I put that in. I think that's in the. Did I skip that? I might not skip that. They usually ask you where you're from. I'm looking for. I don't see it, but yeah, I'm from Newark, Delaware. But you can always donate Cash Apps, PayPal, Venmo. This is what I'm saying. This is what should be happening with drugs. I should be like, look, I got cocaine to sell, I got meth to sell, I got heroin, I got Molly, I got pink cocaine or 2C or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I should be able to get up on YouTube and say, look, where's your address? Whatever address you got, look, I'm gonna send this to you. And then it's nothing. No regulations or controls, only taxation on consumption. That's it. That should be it. That should be the end all of all everything. If that's it. That's all. That's how it should be. But no, for whatever reason, whatever moral set of ideals people have are too scared to say, "Oh, we've got to regulate and we can't have drugs on the streets." And look how great. Look what the war on drugs. Oh, fantastic job. Trillions of dollars spent. Millions of people are behind bars. Thousands of lives, if not millions of lives ruined because of it. Marcel's a troll. Yeah, yeah. Empty hearted. Amen. Yeah. Salute. 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 So I'm just going in on this movie because it was grade A. It was excellent in its making. It tied together all the different strands. It had, like I said, very Black Cuddy. Salute to Black Cuddy. He has to say just no because he's got a job. He's got work to do. But what I'm saying is, you should be able to on your break. You should know, just get a little bump right off the knuckles. Just get a bump right off the knuckles. That's all you should do. I mean, and you shouldn't worry about anybody. And people should make billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, running marijuana, running heroin, running methamphetamine, running Molly, running ecstasy, running all the different drugs that are illicit and illegal, and people have to wonder and say, well, should we vote on it? Why is it even being voted on? Why is it even an issue? People are going to look back at this and laugh like people were laughing at us during Prohibition. People were laughing at us. Italy, France, Germany, are you kidding me? Wine and beer, and even Japan, sake. They're like, look at America. They can't even drink. And of course, America was drinking. They were called speakeasies. And if you had the right knock, if you had a code on the knock, then you could definitely tell which was which and who was going to be allowed in. Like, it's so goofy. It's so it's so sickening. It's just like, mysticism and faith. It's absurd. It's absurd. But they take it so seriously that they fly airplanes in the office buildings. That's how seriously they take their faith. That's what faith is like. They take faith so seriously that they say, well, we're the Christians. If you don't believe in Christianity, then off with your head, and we're Jews. If you worship this calf, okay, we're going to kill all of you. That's the reality of faith. And the same thing goes with drugs. We have to lock you up. We have to put you in prison for years. And our president-elect has flirted with the idea of having drug dealers be put away for not only life, but up for the death penalty, for the capital punishment. All right, I had to get that out a little bit. Okay. Bring back the 80s, exactly. Bring back well, I don't want to see too much of the 80s. I was born in the 80s, so I can't tell. I can't, speak too much on the 80s. Black Cuddy also says Amsterdam, Holland. Yeah, Amsterdam, Holland. Look at them. Look what they were able to do. They allow virtually everything until you're outside the city limits. You're outside the mark of legislation, and you're going to get busted. You try to bring whatever you were doing in Amsterdam onto the plane back to the States, you're going to be in big trouble. And why? For what? I mean, nobody has brung. I said brung. I actually said brung. No one has brought to me a legitimate reason why we can't have drugs. why drugs aren't legal, why I have to take pharmaceutical drugs that are legal that I don't even pay for. I don't even pay for them mugs, and they're totally legal, just like heroin and meth and marijuana and all them should be. They should be completely legal. I don't understand. This movie pissed me off. You should watch this movie. It's on Netflix. Go to Netflix, type in ROB space PEAC. It should automatically pop up. It just pissed me off. It was just so it's well acted. Mary J. Blige is just very great. She's not, sometimes she's very subtle. Sometimes she bursts out. She's a great actress. I have to give her props. She does some great acting. And the lead, I have to see his name. Hold on, let me make sure I get his name. Jay Will. He's a great actor as well. Like I said, there's cliches, and you're expected to see something, but it's weird when you say it's cliches when it's an actual life story, because life is pretty cliched. It's not really inventive. So I mean, technically, we shouldn't be making movies about real life. That's why I brought up Wes Anderson. He has no movies about real life. He has all invented fictional characters. He may have been inspired by various people in real life, but there's no real characters that are truly based on actual facts and things like that. Some movies are really great. Some movies are really great that are based on facts. Like I said, Rob Peace is one of them. But I'm saying that it just pissed me off. It's just because if you watch the movie, if you go, I mean, I'll try not to get. I can give I guess sequences, because it's like it's sequences that I'll try not to spoil. But in the end, he dies. Let me just say that he's dead at the end. He gets shot and killed over some drug bull s, some horse s, over drugs, over weed. It wasn't like he was even moving kilos of coke. He was just doing pounds of weed a week or a few a month or something, whatever the case may have been. Trying to raise up at least $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. He had raised enough money for his I think he was on scholarship, so I don't think he had to pay for his schooling. I could be incorrect about that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But he had like a very street life kind of attitude, because he was based off the streets, but he had a mind that was of a genius. He had a genius mind. He was a black kid with a brain. Have you ever seen that before? How many times do you see that? And thank you. I appreciate that. If you want your questions answers, it's $10. I'll say the minimum is $5 for donations. Donations, if you want your questions answered, it's $10. Thank you. Who was that? That was that's my man. That's my main man, Black Cuddy. Salute. $5. I salute to you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this, because that drugs really piss me off anyway. Because that just I just don't understand it. It makes zero sense. Zero. Nobody can come to me with a rational explanation saying that drugs should be legal. Now, here's the question. Should you use drugs? Probably not. And they should be privately regulated, not regulated by the government, but privately regulated. They should be studied. They should be put under the microscope, literally, and made sure that they are safe for consumption. And then on the business side, they should be safe for production, manufacturing, distribution, and finally, consumption, which should be taxed. I do believe there should be a tax on drugs, just the consumption side. Please hit the like button. Yes, thank you. Respect to Black Cuddy. Salute Black Cuddy. He's one of the truest ever to do it. But anyway, yeah, this movie pissed me off. It pissed me off. I was breaking it up. I started it like on Monday, and I just kept watching it. I just kept watching, a little piece by piece, and I finally watched the tail end of it. and it's just it's just really good. It's just really good. So I do appreciate my man Black Cuddy for sending me that 5 piece. I'll take that, sir. I take that. At least $5 minimums, $10 if you want questions answered. If you want me to answer your question, it's $10. All right. So $5 minimum for donations. If you give me $4 or less, it's getting refunded. I don't care. I don't have to take that money. I'm not begging for money like that. It's not like I'm, fiending for it. I'm good. But anyway, yeah, this movie pissed me off. I'm serious. It was one of those. I just heard about it. They said make you feel bad movies, because people died, and it's very sad, and very it had moments of levity and had moments of cheering, like usually what movies do, ha ha hee hee. But the main thrust of the movie, pause, was the idea about drugs being sold on the streets. It started in East Orange, New Jersey, and I have family members that live up there, um, or lived up there during the 80s and 90s. They've since moved southward over the decades, but most of them, some of them might still be there. But not my blood family, but my step family, my step mom's son. Hung out with a guy that was the nephew of this person. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that, but anyway, this movie pissed me off, you guys. It pissed me off. I'm serious. It was very well made. Very well made. Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's got that name. He said, "You know what? I'm coming to Hollywood. I'm not changing my name. I'm not Norma Jean. I'm not going to be Marilyn Monroe. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor. Okay, either you get it right, or that's just too bad on you." So that's the reality behind that. He did a fine job writing, directing, and acting in this movie. So this was, I guess you can call it, was a passion piece. He seemed like he really was like taken by the story and wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to not only be part of it, he wanted to be the progenitor, the main force behind it. Okay, not the progenitor, but the originator, I should say. Okay, I was right. Or originator. A progenitor can also refer to a person or thing that originates something or serves as a model. Okay, so I was right. I just have to check my vocabulary sometimes. But that's a little bit close to what he was doing. He was doing chemistry. He went to Yale. I was about to say Harvard, their main rival, but he went to Yale. Goddamn, and his father went to jail all the time. The whole time is about him trying to find enough money by selling this high grade weed that nobody could get their hands on except him. He made it in his own little lab, and then that years later, you flash forward, he's got this realty business. He's a realtor. He's like a head realtor, and then you fast forward some more, 2008, when everything tanked, the subprime, homes all, went to S, fell from the bottom, and so it was a bit of a mix up, bit of a mess. So he tried to raise enough money for that as well. I mean, it's just a whole mess. Like, it just pissed me off to no end. Like, it just really just inspired me to do this video, because it doesn't have to be. How many lives, how many people have to be locked up because they just want to make their own life better? They want to feel better. No, it wasn't like that's not, people don't do. There's a $435 trillion drug trade across the world because people want to feel bad. No, they want drugs so they can feel better. the great comic Colin Quinn had a great observation that made me think. He was like, "That's why you don't see a heroin music at a rave. Like there's totally different levels, and there's totally different rooms and different places to navigate. That you won't see somebody that's on coke probably in like a weed den. It's a totally different vibe. You might see him, in a Wall Street, firm or something like that, in the bathroom or something like that, doing off the knuckles, doing a bump right off the knuckles. That's just what it is. I mean, we have to realize that. I don't understand why we don't realize that. That we're like, well, we got to think about the border patrol and how many people are taking in. What is it? What's the drug called? Oh my God, I can't even think of it right now. Not Quaaludes. What are they called? Black Hoodie, help me out. What drug is the drug of choice now? What's the drug du jour? I'm gonna look it up real quick. I can't. I'm gonna just run my mouth while I'm looking for the drug cross order. Fentanyl, fent. That's right. Illicit fentanyl, because fentanyl is actually legal. Yes, thank you, thank you, empty hearted. Appreciate that. Fent. So fent. I didn't even mention that before, but coke, heroin, marijuana, Molly, or ecstasy, PCP, fentanyl, other opioids, all these different drugs should be completely and utterly legal without government regulation or control. That's all I'm going to say. That's about that. I'm going to say a lot more because I got time left, but that's what I'm going to say about it, because this movie just proved to me that this is just a disgusting display that we've put on, and we just go about like, well, it's not me. See, people are selfish, but they're not selfish. I think Nathaniel Branden had a brilliant essay in The Virtue of Selfishness called "The Selfishness Without a Self." Let me make sure I say I have that right. I might be wrong. Let me see. Hold on. I might have it wrong. Okay, it was Ayn Rand. It was Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand pinned that. Okay, it wasn't even it was her the guy who stabbed her in the back, Nathaniel Branden, didn't write Selfish with Myself, but that's exactly what people are in today. You have to look this up. Look up Selfishness Without a Self by Ayn Rand. It's an excellent, and it's not in selfishness. It's in philosophy. Who needs it? But it's basically what I've been saying and what is true in life, that people are selfish, but they'll never admit it, and they'll never really say, well, I'm a selfish person, and I mean that as a good thing, and I mean that as a proper thing. Or they usually like cuss, wipe it off and say like, I'm selfish. I don't want anybody but you, and you can only be with me. And they're trying to make it cute and instead of serious, and what reality is with what selfishness actually is. People are technically all selfish, but I'm not going to say what it really means. Really, people are not selfish. People are unselfish, sacrificial, selfless, and those are all vices. Those are all evil. Those are all evil, bad things. Selfishness is the virtue. Selfishness is good. But people will say, well, it's not affecting me, so it's all right. But then they'll go to the church and they'll say, oh, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, for me and mine. Well, it's not my mother, not my father, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the meaning of prayer. And all these things about being selfish. Oh, my personal relationship with Jesus and things of that nature is all very seemingly selfish. And they say, oh no, it's all about sacrifice. It's all about selflessness. It's all about unselfishness. But they don't really show that in their lives. They know that's a fraud. They know it's completely HS and BS. And they know that. They know it's not real. But however, they stoop too low and they say, it's part of the game. It's part of the real life factor that governs their lives. So people, people can get offended. How dare you get offended? You're not a person. You're not a real self. You're not selfish. You're not. How dare you be offended by anything? How dare you be angered by anything? You're supposed to be just a shmoo and allow people to do it. But that's the difference. Is either you sacrifice others to yourself like a shmoo, or you sacrifice others to you. That's the Hitlers and the Maos and the Lenins and the Stalins of the world. They sacrifice other people to them, to their will, to their life. So I said all that to say this, about the drugs trade, how it affects us, how it governs our lives, how it, even if you never even use illicit drugs like myself, I've never smoked weed, snorted coke, smoked meth, or shot up heroin or anything else. Never did fent, never did abused fent. Because you can be a legitimate user of fent. But I've never used anything besides pharmaceutical drugs, and they do the job pretty well. So they work. So I'm not mad at them. But it's just this movie really just got me onto this. I mean, feeling some type of way. So I really wish you would. I don't wish you would, but I recommend that you read Ayn Rand's "Selfishness Without a Self" from Philosophy Who Needs It. Definitely an excellent expose on human nature and reality and the truth that people don't want to talk about in quiet circles or at office parties. They don't want to say the truth. They don't want to say the reality of it. But this movie pissed me off. It was well made. Well made. I mean, I'll give it like a strong B+, A-. It was that good. Because of the cliche, you can see that coming. You're like, okay. Because I mean, just based on the movie, not just based on real life, just based on the sequences of in the thematic positions of the film, in the dramatic and thematic portions of this film, it pissed me off to no end. Because I was just like, damn, he's really smart. Like, he's like super smart. I could never be this smart. I was a C student in high school. I could never have been that smart. I was terrible. I was a mediocre student. And it's ironic because on my yearbook I said I dislikes mediocrity. It should have been mediocrity. So that was mediocre to say that. So oh boy, you can't make this up. I'm not making it up. This is true. But yeah, so he was very smart, super smart guy. Could have had the world, could have made $1 billion, pharmacy, for marijuana. Could have made billions of dollars. I'm sure of it. He had a strand, he had different compositions of marijuana that he concocted himself. Like, it just amazes me. It just amazes me how people get sucked into the game and get tossed. Some people escape the game. This is my question. The only person I've ever heard of that has been a billionaire by going straight, but was a former drug dealer. I can't think of anyone else except Sean Corey, Jay-Z, Carter. That was a slip, not a Freudian slip, just a slip. But Sean, Jay-Z, Carter. That's the only billionaire I can think of who used to sell cocaine, crack rocks on the street and is now a $2.7 billion man. There have been countless billionaires that have been from Pablo Escobar to Lord of the Skies to all kinds of people that have achieved billionaire status. I think Jesus Christ, what's his name? It's something what's the drug dealer's name? Drug dealer, tunnel, escape. El Chapo, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. He was a billionaire. He made billions of dollars off of cocaine. Billions. Hobbs with a B. So why couldn't Sean was his name, as a kid was Sean, but his name was Rob Peace, and he just happened to sell marijuana. Why couldn't he have had labs set up like Lilly, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Merck, and so many others who make billions of dollars in revenue every year? Why couldn't he have done that? Why couldn't that have been his life instead of being gunned down like a dog in the street? Why did that have to happen? Why is that a reality? Why is that truth? Why is that? That's a fact. That's a fact. He got killed. A brilliant mind, a beautiful mind, cut down like chaff from wheat. That's the sad part. And it's because of our terrible draconian drug laws. They're totally draconian. Draconian is a set of rules or ideas that were set up, I think, during either the 17th century or late or early 18th century, that were opposed to the Bill of Rights that we currently have. So that's what the drug. If the founding fathers looked at this, they'd be like, "Don't we got bigger problems to deal with? Like, this is serious. What are you talking about? Let them smoke weed. Let them snort coke. Let them shoot up heroin. Let them take fent. What the hell? We got a goddamn nation to run. What are you people quibbling about? Oh my God! I don't want junkies near me. I don't want them in my neighborhood. My, eat. I, myself, mine. But I'm not selfish. Oh no, I'm not selfish. No. I'm not me. I'm not a selfish person. And before you even get to say I'm not a selfish person, you have to say I'm. You have to say I am. That's being selfish. That's the sad road we're on right now. And we've been on this road for a while. We've been on this road. So Rob Peace pissed me off. Great movie. Great. I recommend it. It was a very good movie. Great acting, great direction, great writing. Great writing. I mean, hardly do they have great writing on these movies, but it was great writing. Sadly, it was a part of, a real story. I don't really like real story. Like I said, there are too many good movies made because of real stories, but I like, stories that are inspired by real life. Of course, that's all you can do, because you can't just make a movie out of a vacuum. I mean, you have to have actual real human beings playing in your movie. You have to have real human beings executive producing. You have to have people casting and lighting and directing and do all the different elements. You just can't have something that's out of the blue. Just like aliens. It's like aliens can not be without our whole context. Like, they would have to have some kind of formation that are like what it is we find on Earth, because that's it. Like the globular heads and the big eyes and the no mouths or something like that. I mean, like, we have heads, we have mouths. They may not have mouths, or they have small mouths, or whatever the case may be. That's just the reality of substance of the universe. But this movie pissed me off. It certainly pissed me off. It drew a fire under me. Like, I'm just watching this movie like, you son of a mother, you goddamn son of a. Like, it really just. I had to switch to activism. This is an activist message right now. There's a public service announcement. Legalize all drugs right now, and don't regulate and control them by the government. Only by private citizens. Private citizens. I think we're gonna figure this out. We have some pretty brilliant people. We have Rob Pieces of the world that can figure this out, who are very thoughtful and very forward-minded and progressive in thought, not progressive in politics, but progressive in thought, and can figure this out, can do something with this. That's the power of, change. What it takes. Prohibition. Highest point of police deaths in history in the United States of America. Highest point of police deaths in history. It was off the charts. It was crazy. And we had the people like the Bugsy Siegels. We had the Scarface. We had Al Capone's. We had all these malignant, ugly, disgusting human beings. And that's probably why the face of it is so sad. We don't get to see too many raw pieces. Even though this was, he was just doing weed. He could been doing blow, but I mean selling blow, not doing, But he could have been selling blow, but he was just selling weed. And I'm saying sell blow too. Sell blow, sell meth, sell fent, sell PCP, sell Molly, sell all of it. And the best thing also, profits, not just for the drug companies, but for when people get, abused drugs, that's when you get the money. You have rehab centers, and the rehab centers are privatized, and they have to go by how much money is brought in. You could probably make $30,000 to $100,000 per patient based on the facilities. Really great, high-grade facilities, great food, great bedding, great, care, the highest level of PhDs and MDs that money can buy. I mean, this is all could be factual. We could have this in reality. But sadly, we don't. There's only a handful of states that are still tiptoeing, saying, well, we'll allow weed, but we got to regulate it. We got to regulate the production. We got to regulate the distribution. We got to, clamp down on that. You can only have this amount of weed on your person. You can only have this amount of weed in the car. You can only have this amount of weed in your house. And all these different things that just don't make any sense. I should have to have 500 pounds of weed in my trunk if I wanted to. It could weigh down my car. But you know what I mean? That's what it is. So Rob Peace pissed me off. Great movie. I highly recommend it. See Rob Peace. Go see Rob Peace right now. Came out this year. I don't know exactly when. Hold on, I can look it up. But while I'm looking it up, definitely check out Ayn Rand's Selfishness Without a Self. God damn. I get tongue-tied. I hate that. My brain goes faster than my mouth. Can't think. But Rob Peace. When did this come out? Came out in August 16th, 2024. It has some language and some drug dealing. It doesn't even have sex or violence. It doesn't even. It has a violent end, but you don't know. There's no like shootouts or anything like that. They show a gun every 20 minutes or so, but they don't really have much violence, and there's no sex. Camila Cabello is very attractive young lady. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah, she's very attractive. But she's in this film. She does a great job. She does, a good job supporting cast. She's a singer. I know that. That's her primary singer-songwriter, and also an actress, of course, on this movie, as well as I think a few other movies. But she handles the job as well. But yeah, it just pissed me off. I had to break it up in different pieces because I was getting heated just sitting. I'm just like, God damn, why is this happening? This kid's a genius, and his life just is taken away. Like it didn't even matter. All over some drugs. Drugs. We make him serious, like we make Faith serious. the golden calf, the Knights of the Templar. If you're not Christian, we cut off your head. If you're working in this calf, we're gonna cut, slaughter you. If you don't believe in, Allah, we're gonna fly these planes into your office buildings. Allahu Akbar and all that. Oh, but it's a religion of peace. It's a faith of peace. Yeah, a piece of you over here, a piece of you over there. Like what's his name? Bill Maher said. Just a side note, Bill Maher, he has some good points, but I used to rock with Bill Maher. Then I heard from Mr. Choice Our Terrain, and I still kind of rock with him afterwards. But he's really turned leftist now. He's like super leftist. But he used to be down. He used to be almost in the middle. He said some stupid things about the military and about 9/11 before, but I can't remember them offhand right now. But he said, and that's why he lost his show on ABC. But he's a white man, so hey, you get a second chance. Go on HBO, Real Time with Bill Maher. If this has been a nigger, he'd be like, sorry, nigger, you're done. You said the wrong thing. It's over now. Bye-bye. See ya. That's just a fact. But no, I remember he had different stories about or just different riffs on, dads in the media being stupid. Like I was like, yeah, that's true. Homer Simpson and commercials like, but why did I get that, honey? Like it's just goofy. Like he just made a good point about like dads being in the media being stupid or being, very slovenly or, or just dim-witted or something like that. So I had to give him that much respect. And then Religious is this a great documentary. If you watch it, it's a great. It's not. I hope you got your recommendations. I had my Ayn Rand, Philosophy Who Needs It, Selflessness Without a Self. I had to correct myself. I thought Nathaniel Branden wrote that in The Virtue of Selflessness. It's actually Ayn Rand, Selflessness Without a Self, and Philosophy Who Needs It. So it just pissed me off. That's all I can say. It just really pissed me off. The whole show just pissed me off. I mean, it just lit a fire under me that drove me to this video. It just drove me to this. I had to express myself in whatever way I could. And if I try to write it and like, but I put up a video, I can get $5 right off the bat. It takes me, every month I get $5 for my writing, but my videos, I get paid. I get paid with my writing. I don't get it twisted. I got thousands of dollars from writing as well, but that's how it should be. As simple it is as you can write up a story. Oh well. We have to tax the story. They taxed the money. They haven't taxed me yet. I'm just fortunate that I haven't gone over $600 in a single payment. TX Con, he finds me. I don't ever find him, but he finds me. Salute to this man. He's never given me $1, but salute to this man. So he says, go back to Jesus every time. Yeah. Go back to irrationalism. Go back to suffering. Go back to ignorance. Go back to, complaining. Go back to harsh living. Go back to all that. That's going back to Jesus for me. Going back to being confused, being under the spell of something that I did not understand, something that I couldn't keep. I keep you humble. Yeah, well, you can't humble me. I got too much of an ego. You can't humble the humble less. So that's what TX Carnage says. I keep you humbled. No, there's too much ambition in me to be humbled. I like how that's how my grandmother used to say humbled, without the H. The H was silent. Yeah, Raw Peace, I definitely recommend it. Great film. Piss you off. Hopefully it makes you mad. Hopefully it makes you an activist. Hopefully it makes you something, that you think about and want to continue to investigate. As long as you keep talking about Jesus, I'm doing my job. But I'm not promoting Jesus. I'm tearing the idea of Jesus down. Not tearing Jesus down. Let's make that clear. I don't tear down Jesus. Jesus was given a raw deal. He was a person of perfect virtue that was sacrificed for people of lesser virtue. That is despicable. That is disgusting. That is evil. They call that grace. They call that mercy. I call that injustice. That's exactly what it is. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Whenever I think about, Jesus on the post, even though they say he was on a cross, no, he was on a post. But you talk about him nonetheless. Yeah, talk about him, of course. But I'm saying that's why I'm pro Jesus. I'm not against Jesus. I'm actually for Jesus more so than Christians. Christians want to see him die. Yay, Jesus died. Then I get to live. That's the whole point of Christianity. Jesus dies. I get to live. Hey, that makes sense. And again, that's the selfishness without a self. You're being selfish. You're thinking to yourself. Oh, he says, no, sir. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. You're thinking of yourself, but you're not thinking of it rationally. It's called rational self-interest. It's not just self-interest. It's rational self-interest. That's what selfishness is. And don't look it up in a dictionary. Look it up in the Ayn Rand lexicon. Selfishness. If you look up in a dictionary, go to a 1930s or 1940s dictionary. It says selfishness is the is rooted in self-interest. Basically, that's what it will say. That's it, and it doesn't give a moral evaluation, but it just says it's just a sense of being self-interested. That's it. That's the idea of what it would be. I'm paraphrasing. I can't give the exact definition of a 1930s dictionary. Where can you find a 1930s dictionary? We have besides a trash heap or a antiques line of goods, so. But I said this movie pissed me off. Your grandma has one. Okay, that's good. I think my grandma had one too. She had a Bible from like the 1920s or something, or late 1800s. Big thing. It had a clasp on it. It was crazy. But the dictionaries, I've only seen a 1930s or 1940s dictionary in the library before. That was it. And you couldn't even check it out. You had to stay in the library. But yeah, so drugs. That's my whole concern right now. Drugs. Why are we not thinking as a country, the United States of America, if we just free up the market for drugs, allow only the consumption of drugs to be taxed, no controls, no regulations other than private ones. Privatize the regulations and controls on drugs. That's it. That's everything. It's the only thing. It's all we should be concerned about. The fact that we can even manufacture drugs in this country. It was like watching Breaking Bad. It was like watching Breaking Bad. He was a genius. Walt is a genius. Even what's his name? Walter White. Walter White was a genius. Is a genius. And even Jesse Pinkman had like different. He had a totally different mode. He was kind of like an ill, dim-witted kind of kid. But he had some moments where he was actually pretty brilliant. Yeah, I'm wild today. I'm super wild today because we need to talk about this. I was pissed off at a movie. I was pissed off at this film. I'm super wild today. I'm turned up. That movie was great, well made, but the themes, oh my god, and like they just said, look, it's up to you. You figure it out. You figure out what this like BS is. We showed you everything. We showed you he had the money stashed in the Foot Locker. He had the money. He was trying to get money for the real estate. his dad died while while he was in prison. And again, you can make this stuff up, or you can't, because you can't make it up because it was reality. It actually happened. So I'm just taken away by all of it. All of it just, really just took me to another level of understanding and a different way of seeing things, and of really appreciating the fact that there are so many people that don't understand the facts of the drug. I mean, it doesn't. You can ask a 4-year-old, you can ask a 5-year-old. I mean, I wouldn't ask a 4 or 5-year-old. I'll say a 16 or a 17-year-old, because you're just on the brink of adulthood, and they say, you know what? I've never tried drugs, or I have tried drugs, and it was cool. I had a good time. I was feeling myself. I was feeling a good time, feeling the music, and everything was like, I was vibing, and it was a good time. I felt great. Or that's just the consumption side. Or felt great. I made $2 million last month. Tax free. Who could say that? We can't say that in America now. Right now, you can't say that unless you're going to be in jail by people in IRS jackets are going to be knocking at your door, and you're going to end up with like Wesley Snipes. You can't say I made $3 million or $10 million last week and they didn't tax it. Oh no. And you can't say I manufactured tons of marijuana and no regulators or controllers were hounding me or on my back or anything like that. You can't say that. You can't say that. Everything that has to go on has to be accounted for in this country. Everything. But the sick part is that you have these people, these politicians, these people in these high offices that are governing our lives, that should butt out of our lives, out of our boardrooms, out of our bedrooms, out of our schools. All that has to be, made, And that's the thing too. I mean, there you go again. Education. Privatize education. Then the children will learn, maybe I shouldn't take fent in that amount. I'll probably OD and die. Or maybe I shouldn't smoke weed every day of my life. Or maybe I should. Maybe it's a good idea. It's a difference. It's a difference. It depends on the individual. That's what it all comes down to. We think about everything collectively, I think. I think we have a collectivistic viewpoint on the most individualistic culture in the world, the United States, which is predicated on the idea of we the people hold these truths to be self-evident that I'm messing up. We hold these truths to be self-evident that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that each man is equal. Let me make sure I get this right. I always mess it up. See, I'm messing up. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So that is a selfish approach. That is selfish. That's all about the individual. It's not about, life, liberty, and pursuit of my neighbor's health. Liberty, and the pursuit of my enemy's health. Control. It doesn't function like that. With certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness over my life, my living, my space. And that's not the website. I might be too old and mentioning saying the website MySpace. And I totally jangled the Constitution. I mean, the Declaration of Independence, but I have to memorize it so I say it right the next time. But I know you guys are gonna be like, oh, you messed up the Declaration of Independence. I'm going at 100 miles an hour. Sometimes I'm gonna hit the skids. All right, so, but I just wanted to just take an hour out of your time and my time, and just tell what it meant to me to watch Rob Peace, what it really what it really stood for. The way of life you're talking about has never worked. It's working right now, by the way, but not fully. It's not working completely. You're saying that capitalism has never worked. Well, we've never tried it. That's the thing. We've had elements over here and somewhat over there and some kind of pieces over there. I'm talking to TC Carnage 817. He says, the way of life you're talking about has never worked. Just like I'm talking about the Declaration of Independence. It hasn't worked fully, worked mostly, worked kind of, a little bit, sort of, but we haven't allowed it to flourish under capitalism, which essentially is the government protecting all property rights, including and especially individual rights. That's all capitalism is. It's not, it's part of trade, trading value for value. And of course, that is a shorthand of saying capitalism, but it's really about securing property rights. That's what capitalism is. So I love how TX Carnage got all this wording, but never has a donation. He says all this stuff, but he never donates. He hasn't sent me a red cent. That's all right, though. I'm going to still allow him in here. I'm not going to block him or anything stupid and silly like that. But I do appreciate it. But Rob Peace, pissed off about that movie. Totally pissed me off. Completely pissed me off. Just totally. Just without any function, any reason beyond the fact that it portrayed life in the streets and in the school systems and how they were like melding and then they're breaking up again and they're melding and they're breaking up again. It was kind of like chemical reactions. It was a very well made story. It was very well put together. I have to give a lot of credit to Chiwetel Ejiofor, the writer, director, and actor of Rob Peace. He's the brain behind the spinal cord of Jay Will's performance. And Camila Cabello, she was excellent as well. She did a great job. And supporting cast, like I said, Mary J. Blige, she was great. She was an executive producer, so she's getting money from this. That's how we do. We don't have to have there's going to be a day where there were really days, the blacklist of communists. They never said, are you or have you ever been a part of the Capitalist Party? Like, it's like ridiculous. Someone's like, what? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Like, but you say the Communist Party, and tell the truth. In reality, how horrible and horrific and disgusting communism actually is, then you get to tell what it's like. Can I say this? I'm gonna try this again before I go out. We hold these truths to be self-evident that oh my God, I can't do it. I can't. We hold these truths to be self-evident that probably because it's not true yet. That's probably where we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, so that's just the beginning, but we have not lived up to that. Mary J knew about Aaliyah death. Okay, well, I'm not even going to go into TX Carnage 817 what he says. If you're watching this video, you can see what he says, but I'm not going to repeat it. He's going someplace else. He's going in a different direction. But I do appreciate the fact that people came in early. It came up to 8 viewers. It was up to 8 viewers, so I was not mad at that. I was pretty surprised actually about that, because there was no indication that I was going to come on this late. I came on earlier today, so I do appreciate that. So thank you all. I thank Black Cuddy. Salute to you, sir. Conk, Shrubber, Empty Hearted, and Marcel. And of course, TXC Carnage 817. So salute to you all and have a good night. Take care.